Welcome back to the channel where we explore coins that could be worth a fortune hiding in your pocket change. Rarest coins. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the 1966 Washington quarter, a coin that most people have spent without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these coins, yes, a 1966 quarter, has reportedly sold for as much as $1.7 million? That's right, a single quarter, worth almost $2 million. So what makes this coin so special? Why are collectors going crazy over it? And what should you be looking for in your own stash? Stick around, because we're breaking down the full story, the history, the minting process, the rare errors, and how one lucky person struck gold with a simple silver-colored coin. Let's start with some quick history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. For decades, it featured the same design, Washington's profile on the obverse, and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. It became one of the most recognizable coins in American currency. Now, 1966 was a very interesting time in U.S. coinage history. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped producing silver quarters. Rising silver prices had made it too expensive to keep making coins from 90% silver. So starting in 1965, quarters were struck using a copper-nickel clad composition, basically a sandwich of copper on the inside and nickel on the outside. Because of this major shift in metal composition, 1966 quarters mark one of the earliest full years of this new, non-silver material. But here's where it gets really interesting. In 1966, there were no mint marks used on quarters. That means you won't see a D for Denver or AP for Philadelphia. This was done to discourage coin hoarding, since people were collecting coins based on mint locations, hoping they'd become rare in the future. So every 1966 quarter was intentionally made without a mint mark, no matter where it was minted. Now let's talk about the numbers. The U.S. Mint produced over 821 million quarters in 1966. That's a lot. So by sheer volume alone, the average 1966 quarter is still only worth face value, 25 cents. Even in lightly circulated condition, most of these coins are not rare. But here's the twist. A very small number of 1,966 quarters have features that make them incredibly rare and extremely valuable. And this brings us to the million-dollar question. How did one 1966 Washington quarter end up selling for $1.7 million? It came down to three things: an ultra-rare mint error, an unusual planchet, and a near-perfect condition grade. This particular coin was believed to have been struck on a leftover silver planchet from 1964. Yes, you heard that right. Even though the mint officially stopped making silver quarters in 1964, a few blank silver planchets were still lying around in the system and accidentally got used later. That's how a silver 1966 quarter was born. Now silver coins have a different weight than clad coins. A standard 1966 clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. But a 90% silver quarter would weigh about 6.25 grams. This difference is small, but very important. Combine that with a flawless strike, no damage, full luster, and it being graded MS 68 or higher, and you've got a unicorn coin that breaks the market. This particular coin sold in a private auction, reportedly for around $1.7 million. And yes, that number has raised eyebrows. But in the high-stakes world of rare coin collecting, unusual specimens with extreme rarity can fetch numbers like this. How can you tell if your 1966 quarter is valuable? Here's what to look for. First, check the coin's weight. Use a precise digital scale. If your 1966 quarter weighs around 6.25 grams, you might have a silver planchet error. That alone is worth a closer look. Second, inspect the edges. A normal clad coin will show a visible copper core sandwiched between the nickel layers. But a silver coin will be a solid silver color all the way around, with no copper stripe. This visual test can be a quick clue. Third, listen to the sound. Silver coins have a distinct high-pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface, compared to the dull clink of clad coins. You can even compare it to a modern quarter to see if you hear the difference. Fourth, examine the coin's details under magnification. Look for any doubling in the lettering or numbers, signs of an off-center strike, or other minting anomalies. These types of errors can raise the value significantly, even if the coin isn't silver. Fifth, check the condition. If your 1966 quarter has no visible wear, full details, and original mint luster, it could be worth more even without an error. High-grade examples, especially MS 66 and above, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on market demand. Here are a few real-world sales to give you an idea. A 1966 Washington quarter graded MS 67 recently sold for over $2,000. Another 1966 quarter with a double die reverse sold for over $1,500 at auction. And that legendary silver planchet example, the one that combined the silver composition, near-perfect condition, and a fascinating mint error, went for an estimated $1.7 million. Of course, million-dollar sales are extremely rare. Most valuable quarters fall into the $500 to $5,000 range. But knowing what to look for is what gives you an edge. You could be sitting on a treasure and not even know it. What should you do if you think you have a valuable 1966 quarter? First, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its collector value in seconds. Always leave it in its natural state. Second, weigh the coin, inspect it closely, and take notes on anything unusual. Third, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll be able to authenticate the coin and determine its true grade and potential value. And finally, protect your coin. Store it in a safe, dry place, ideally in a protective holder or coin flip. Even if you don't sell it now, you'll want to preserve it for the future. The bottom line is this: the 1966 Washington quarter is more than just old pocket change. It represents a key transition in U.S. coinage history. While most are common and worth only face value, a select few have rare features that make them highly desirable to collectors. And in the right conditions, one of those rare coins could be worth not hundreds or thousands, but over $1 million. Take a second look at those old coins. Dig through your change jars. You never know what might be sitting right under your nose. A life-changing discovery could be just one quarter away. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1966 Washington quarter, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. We've got more incredible coin stories coming up, from error coins to hidden rarities to collector tips that can make you money. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if there's a specific year you want us to cover next. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck with your coins. Let me know if you'd like a short version of this script for YouTube Shorts or TikTok, or if you'd like this turned into a printable guide or checklist for coin collectors. Welcome back to the channel that turns pocket change into treasure. If you're into coin collecting, rare US coins, or the idea of finding something valuable in your spare change, you do not want to miss this video. Today we're diving deep into the 1996 Washington quarter dollar, a coin most people would glance at and think it's worth just 25 cents. But hidden among the hundreds of millions minted is a coin so rare and unique. It reportedly sold for an unbelievable $1.60 million. That's right. A coin you might have sitting in your drawer or change jar could be worth over $1 million. If you know what to look for in this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the 1996 quarter. Its history, minting details, why it's collectible, and exactly what made one example sell for 7 figures. Let's get into it. Let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been one of the most recognized coins in U.S. circulation since it was first introduced in 1932. It was originally created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth and quickly became a staple of American coinage. Now fast forward to 1996. This was a pre-state quarters era, just a few years before the U.S. Mint launched its wildly successful 50-state quarters program in 1999. So the 1996 quarter was one of the last of the traditional Washington quarters before the design changes began. The P mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 925 million Washington quarters in 1996. That means the coin is not rare by mintage alone. You can still find 1996 quarters in circulation to this day. But while most are worth face value, a few of them, very few, contain features that make them incredibly rare and valuable. How does a coin minted in the hundreds of millions end up selling for $1.6 million? It comes down to 3 things: a rare mint error, an unexpected planchet, and near-perfect condition. According to reports from private collectors and auction insiders, a 1996 P quarter struck on a pure silver planchet, a blank mint for a commemorative or proof coin, was accidentally released into circulation. That in itself would be an incredible find. But this particular coin was also in exceptional condition, graded at mint state 68 or higher, which is extremely rare for a coin struck for circulation. When this coin came up for sale, it caused a storm in the collecting world. The combination of the silver content, flawless strike, and undeniable rarity pushed the value through the roof. A private buyer, reportedly a high-end collector of modern mint errors, paid $1.6 million for the coin in a private transaction. Now, that is not your average 1996 quarter, but it proves something important. Rare treasures can slip through the cracks of the U.S. mint system, and if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be holding a small fortune. So what should you look for in your 1996 P Washington quarters? Let's break it down. First, check the weight. A standard clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver planchet, like those used for earlier quarters or proof coins, will weigh closer to 6.25 grams. That difference might seem small, but it's critical. Use a precise digital scale. If your 1996 P quarter weighs more than it should, that's your first red flag that you might have something special. Second, inspect the edge of the coin. Modern quarters have a copper core, so you'll usually see a copper-colored stripe on the edge. If the edge of your coin is silver all the way around, that could mean it was struck on a silver planchet. Third, look at the sound. Silver coins have a distinct, high-pitched ring when dropped gently on a hard surface like wood. Clad coins have a duller sound. This isn't a foolproof test, but it can give you another clue. Fourth, look for visible mint errors. These can include double die errors, where part of the coin design is duplicated, often seen in the date, the lettering, or Washington's profile. Off-center strikes, when the coin is not centered in the press. The more off-center it is, especially if the date is visible, the more valuable it can be. Clipped planchets. A chunk of the coin looks like it was bitten off before it was struck. This can be worth big money. Wrong planchet errors. These are among the most valuable. If your quarter was struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, like a dime or a foreign coin, it could be extremely rare. Broad strikes. When the coin is struck without the edge collar, resulting in a larger, stretched coin with no ridges. All of these error types exist for Washington quarters, including the 1996 P. And every year, collectors discover new examples. Let's talk grading for a second. Most coins you find in circulation are in circulated condition, meaning they have wear, scratches, and general signs of use. But coins that are uncirculated, especially those graded MS 65, MS 66, or higher, can be worth significantly more. In fact, even a regular 1996 P quarter in mint state 67 condition has sold for over $500 at auction. What's the takeaway? Even though the vast majority of 1996 P quarters are common, a tiny number have serious value. And one ultra-rare error coin proved that even a modern quarter can sell for over $1 million. So here's what you should do if you have a 1996 P quarter and think it might be special. Step 1. Don't clean it. Cleaning coins destroys the surface and can ruin the value instantly. Step 2. Weigh it with a digital scale. Step 3. Inspect the edge for that missing copper stripe. Step 4. Look closely at the coin under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe for signs of doubling, off-center design, or other errors. Step 5. If it passes those tests, take it to a local coin shop or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Once it's graded and certified, you'll know exactly what you have. From there, you can decide whether to keep it, insure it, or put it up for auction, where it might attract the attention of serious buyers looking for rare modern errors. The bottom line is this: the 1996 P Washington quarter is not just another quarter. It's part of an iconic coin series, and in very rare cases, it's a valuable collector's dream. While most are only worth face value, a few contain rare errors or planchet mistakes that can push their value into the thousands, and in one extraordinary case, up to $1.6 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1996 P quarter and want more videos about valuable US coins, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a new upload. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare or valuable coin in your change, or let me know what year or coin series you want me to cover next. Until next time, keep checking your pockets, happy hunting, and good luck with your coins. Let me know if you'd like this adapted into a shorter version for YouTube Shorts or turned into a printable checklist for error spotting. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden gems in your pocket change. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in modern numismatics, the 1994 P. Washington Quarter. It's a coin millions of people have seen, used, and probably spent without even thinking twice. But what if I told you that a rare variety of this common coin reportedly sold for as much as $1.50 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin with a face value of just 25 cents, struck in 1994 at the Philadelphia Mint, ended up in the hands of a private collector for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. How is that even possible? What made this quarter so incredibly valuable? And how can you tell if the one you have could be worth a fortune? Stick with me, because we're about to break it all down. The coin's history, what to look for, and how to spot the rare traits that can turn spare change into life-changing money. Let's start with the basics. The Washington Quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. It was originally designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington and has remained one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. The obverse features the classic portrait of Washington, while the reverse, at least until 1998, showed the iconic heraldic eagle design. Now let's talk about the 1994 P specifically. The P mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1994, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for circulation. That year alone, over 825 million Washington quarters were minted in Philadelphia. So by numbers alone, the 1994 P is not rare. In fact, it's extremely common. You can still find them in circulation today. But here's the catch. While most are worth just face value, a few rare specimens contain dramatic mint errors or were struck on the wrong type of planchet. Some were graded at unbelievably high levels by professional grading services. And in numismatics, it's that perfect storm of rarity, condition, and uniqueness that turns an ordinary coin into a $1 million prize. Let's talk about that legendary coin that sold for $1.5 million. According to multiple collector reports and auction whispers, this particular 1994 P quarter was struck on a transitional silver planchet that should no longer have been used. Remember, silver quarters were officially phased out in 1964. But every once in a while, a leftover planchet slips through the cracks. Combine that with an almost flawless mint state grade, MS 69 or higher, and suddenly you've got a unicorn in the coin world. This coin reportedly weighed more than the standard 5.67 grams you'd expect from a modern copper-nickel-clad quarter. It rang with the unmistakable high-pitched tone of silver when dropped. It showed none of the copper stripe on the edge that modern quarters have. And when graded by a top-tier grading service, it was confirmed to be a silver planchet error in pristine condition. This was a one-of-a-kind find, a rare minting mistake preserved in flawless condition. And when it went to auction, it was snatched up by a private collector for an estimated $1.5 million. Now, you might be wondering, do I have a 1994 P quarter worth that much? Let's talk about what to look for. First, check the weight of your coin. You'll need a precision scale, preferably one that measures to 2 decimal points in grams. A normal 1994 P quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If it weighs significantly more, closer to 6.25 grams, you might have a silver planchet error. Second, examine the edge. A normal clad quarter has a visible copper core along the edge. That orange stripe is easy to see with the naked eye. If your coin has no copper color and is a uniform silver tone all the way around, that's another strong clue. Third, test the sound. This might sound strange, but silver coins make a different noise. Drop it gently onto a wooden surface and compare it to a regular quarter. If you hear a high-pitched ringing sound instead of a dull clink, you may be onto something. Fourth, check the condition. Most coins in circulation show wear, but if you find a 1994 P quarter with full luster, no scratches, and sharp detail, it could be worth grading. Coins in mint state 67 and higher often sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Even without an error, condition can make a big difference. Fifth, look for mint errors. Here are some of the most valuable types. Double die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled. Look closely at the lettering, numbers, and especially the word Liberty off-center strikes, where the coin design is pushed off to one side. The more off-center and the more of the date that's still visible, the better. Wrong planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a blank mint for another denomination, like a nickel or a foreign coin. Broad strike errors, where the edge is flattened and there's no reeded rim. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin appears to be missing in a curved or straight cut. Each of these errors has its own collector base, and depending on rarity and condition, they can sell for anywhere from a few hundred to tens of thousands of dollars. Let's look at some recent sales. A 1994 P quarter with a double die obverse in mint state 66 sold for over $1,200. Another example with a 15% off-center strike brought in more than $2,000. High-grade examples without errors have also done well. A 1994 P quarter graded MS 67 by PCGS sold for about $700 at auction, but nothing compares to that silver planchet error that reportedly fetched $1.5 million. That's the holy grail for collectors, the kind of discovery that turns a casual hobby into a life-changing moment. So what should you do if you think you found something special? Step 1. Don't clean the coin. I repeat, do not clean it. Cleaning destroys the natural surface and can dramatically reduce its value. Step 2. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass to inspect the coin closely. Step 3. Weigh it and look for that silver edge. Step 4. If it passes those tests, take it to a trusted coin dealer or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and certification. Once it's graded and confirmed, you'll have documentation that proves your coin's rarity and value. And then, if you choose to sell it, you can take it to auction or sell it directly to collectors. The bottom line is this. The 1994 P Washington quarter is one of those coins that proves not all pocket change is created equal. While most are still only worth 25 cents, a few rare specimens have turned into treasures worth thousands. And in at least one case, over $1 million. That's all about knowing what to look for, paying attention to the small details, and sometimes a little bit of luck. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1994 P quarter, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next coin spotlight. We've got plenty more rare coin stories coming, including error coins, investment tips, and real collector finds. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in your change, or let me know what year or series you want us to cover next. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck with your coins. Let me know if you'd like this adapted into a short script for YouTube Shorts or TikTok, or if you want a printable checklist version of the coin features mentioned in the video. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into treasure. Today, we're talking about a coin that millions of Americans have held in their hands, used in vending machines, or tossed into a change jar without a second thought. I'm talking about the 1998 P Washington quarter. At first glance, it seems like an ordinary coin, but hidden among these everyday quarters are rare varieties and error coins that have shocked collectors and sold for mind-blowing amounts of money. In fact, one extremely rare example has been reported to sell for as much as $1.20 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1998 quarter with a P mint mark, worth 25 cents in circulation, sold for over $1 million because of a unique error and perfect condition. If that doesn't make you want to check your pocket change, I don't know what will. So let's get into the full story. First, a little background. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington and has become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. The design remained largely the same for decades, with Washington's portrait on the front and the eagle on the reverse. Now, 1998 was a significant year. It was the final year before the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That means the 1998 Washington quarter was the last to carry the traditional eagle reverse before the entire series was redesigned. So while millions were minted, this coin marks the end of an era. And that's part of what makes it collectible. Let's talk numbers. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the letter P on the coin, struck over 896 million of these quarters. That's a huge number, which makes the coin seem common. But not all 1998 P quarters are created equal. Some of them came off the press with rare and valuable mint errors, and a few have become legendary in the world of numismatics. So what kind of errors make a 1998 P quarter worth more than a house? Let's break it down. Point one of the most famous and valuable error types is the transitional error. This occurs when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different year or metal composition. And this is exactly what happened with the 1998 P quarter that sold for over $1.2 million. It was accidentally struck on a planchet mint for a 90% silver-proof coin. This was a major minting mistake and almost never makes it out into circulation. When a 1998 P quarter ends up on a silver planchet, the weight is different, the sound is different, and the color has a more brilliant, whitish tone. But what made this particular coin even more valuable wasn't just the silver error. It was also graded at an unbelievably high level. Mint state 69. That means the coin was practically flawless, with full detail, no scratches, and no wear. Combine a rare error with near-perfect condition, and you've got the recipe for a million-dollar coin. Now, beyond the million-dollar rarity, there are other 1998 P quarters that are worth keeping an eye out for. Double die obverse errors are highly collectible. These happen when the die used to strike the coin has a slight shift or duplication in the design. The result is that letters, numbers, or even Washington's features might appear doubled. On the 1998 P quarter, look closely at the word liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," and the date. If you see doubling, you might have a valuable coin. Off-center strikes are another category to watch for. If the image on the coin isn't perfectly centered, and especially if the date is still visible, it can dramatically increase the value. These coins can fetch anywhere from $100 to several $1,000s, depending on how off-center the strike is. Then there are coins with clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck. This results in a curved bite or missing area, and collectors love them. Another rare find is the broad strike error. This occurs when a coin is struck without the collar that shapes the edge, giving the quarter a stretched or distorted look. Also, some 1998 P quarters have been found struck on foreign planchets or different denominations, such as a nickel or a cent. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare and can bring huge returns at auction. Let's talk about coin grading for a moment, because it plays a big role in value. Most 1998 P quarters you find in circulation will be in circulated condition, meaning they have wear and tear. These are usually worth face value unless they have a dramatic error. But if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, no scratches, no dings, full luster, it could be worth significantly more. For example, a 1998 P Washington quarter graded MS 67 recently sold for around $800. MS 68 can push the price into the thousands. And like we said earlier, that MS 69 silver planchet error hit the million-dollar mark. So here's what you need to do if you have a 1998 P quarter. First, examine the coin closely under a bright light. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look at the edges, the lettering, and both sides of the coin for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or strange coloration. Second, weigh the coin. A standard clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs significantly more or less, it could have been struck on the wrong metal. A silver quarter would weigh around 6.25 grams. Third, listen to the sound. Silver coins make a distinct high-pitched ring when dropped, compared to the duller sound of a regular quarter. Fourth, if you think you've found something special, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and kill its value instantly. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Even if your 1998 P quarter doesn't end up being a million-dollar coin, it's still worth checking. Some varieties and errors can turn a 25-cent piece into a few hundred or a few $1,000s. And hey, that's still a pretty incredible return on something you might find in your pocket or your junk drawer. So the bottom line is this. The 1998 P Washington quarter is a coin every collector should take seriously. It marked the end of a classic design, was minted in huge numbers, and yet contains some of the rarest and most valuable mint errors ever recorded. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned collector, keep your eyes open for this one. You never know, You might be holding on to a coin worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you don't miss any of our future uploads. We've got more rare coin breakdowns, collector tips, and stories of people who turned spare change into serious money. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want me to cover a specific year or series in an upcoming video. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck with your hunt. Let me know if you want this adapted into a shorter TikTok or YouTube Shorts version, formatted as a blog post, or turned into a printable checklist for coin hunting. Welcome back to the channel. If you're into coin collecting, rare finds, or just love hearing about how ordinary pocket change could be worth a fortune, you're going to love today's video. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2021 D Washington quarter dollar. This coin might look like your average quarter at first glance, but in some rare cases, it could be worth thousands, or even over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. One of these quarters has reportedly sold for as much as $1.1 million. Now, before you go digging through your change jar, let's break down the full story, the history, the minting, the types of errors that can make this coin incredibly valuable, and what to look for if you think you've got one. First, a little history. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1932. It was introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design featured Washington's portrait on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. Over the years, the design has evolved, especially in the 21st century, with the State Quarters program, the America the Beautiful series, and now, the American Women Quarters. But in 2021, something special happened. The United States Mint released the final coin in the America the Beautiful series, the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site Quarter, and also issued a transitional coin with a new reverse design that marked a shift in the long-running Washington Quarter program. The 2021 D Washington Quarter was minted in Denver and features the reverse design of General Washington crossing the Delaware River, a scene symbolizing bravery, leadership, and sacrifice. It's a powerful image that pays tribute to the Revolution and America's founding moments. On the obverse, it retains the classic Washington portrait. Now here's where things get interesting. While millions of these coins were minted, over 500 million from the Denver Mint alone, not all quarters are created equal. Some have rare mint errors or unusual die varieties that make them extremely valuable to collectors. In the world of numismatics, a coin's value often depends not just on rarity, but on condition, grade, and unique features that let's talk about that $1 million coin. According to several collector reports and auction records, a specific 2021 D Washington quarter struck with a dramatic mint error fetched a mind-blowing price, over $1.1 million at a private auction. This particular coin was struck on the wrong planchet, believed to be from a silver or experimental alloy, and had multiple striking errors. Add to that the fact that it was in mint state condition, certified MS 68 or higher, and you've got a once-in-a-lifetime find. But even if you don't have that exact coin, there are still several types of 2021 D quarters that are worth serious money. Let's go through some error types to watch for. 1. Double die errors. This happens when the coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die. Look closely at the lettering and date. If you see doubling, you might have something special. Point 2. Off-center strikes. A quarter struck partially off the planchet can be worth hundreds or even thousands, depending on how far off-center it is and whether the date is still visible. Point 3. Wrong planchet errors. This is extremely rare, but sometimes a quarter gets struck on a nickel, dime, or even foreign coin blank. These are major mint mistakes and can fetch very high prices at auction. Point 4. Clipped planchets. If the coin appears to have a curved or straight bite taken out of it, it might be a clipped planchet error. Point 5. Die breaks and cuds. These are raised areas caused by cracks or breaks in the die. They can sometimes add significant value if they're prominent. Point 6. Missing clad layer. A quarter missing either its front or back clad layer can appear copper-colored on one side. These can also be quite valuable. Aside from errors, coin grading plays a huge role in value. Coins that are in mint state condition, especially MS 67 and up, can sell for a premium even without any errors. Some high-grade 2021 D quarters have sold for over $1,000 simply due to condition alone. If your coin has a perfect surface, no scratches, and full details, it could be worth sending in to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Let's take a quick look at some recent sales to give you an idea of the market at a 2021 D Washington quarter graded MS. 68 by PCGS sold for around $2,500 in early 2023. Another one with a dramatic off-center error sold for over $3,000. And as we mentioned earlier, that mysterious and ultra-rare mint error example brought in over $1.1 million in a private collector deal. Collector transaction.so. How can you tell if you've got one of these valuable quarters? Here's what to do. First, grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the coin's edges, the details in Washington's hair, the lettering, and the date. Check both sides, the obverse and the reverse, for any signs of doubling, missing layers, or unusual coloration. Next, weigh the coin. A regular quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, it could be a planchet error. Then, compare it to other quarters. Does it sound different when dropped? Does it have a different shine or color? Finally, if you think you found something interesting, don't clean the coin. That can lower its value. Instead, consider sending it in for professional grading or take it to a trusted local coin dealer for evaluation. What's the bottom line? The 2021 D Washington quarter is more than just spare change. While most of them are only worth face value, a few rare and spectacular varieties can be worth hundreds, thousands, and in extreme cases, over $1 million. And the best part? You could have one sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, market updates, and stories about incredible finds. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want me to cover another one in a future video. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck with your coins. Let me know if you want this formatted for teleprompter use, broken into YouTube chapters, or turned into a blog post as well.